Welcome to Inside USA, September 11th, 2001. The day the world stood still. The collapse of the Twin Towers wasn't just the destruction of buildings. It was an attack on the heart of America. In the immediate aftermath, a stunned nation rallied together, united by grief and a powerful sense of resolve. Flags appeared on every street corner, and a new kind of patriotism swept the country. But beneath the unity, a new chapter of American history was beginning, one defined by war. The first response was swift and decisive. The target was Al-Qaeda and their protectors, the Taliban, in Afghanistan. Operation Enduring Freedom launched in October 2001, sending American forces into a rugged, unforgiving landscape. This wasn't a traditional war of front lines and clear battlefields. It was a hunt. Soldiers, particularly special forces, navigated treacherous mountain passes and remote villages, chasing shadows. They worked alongside local Afghan allies, building relationships in a complex cultural and political environment. The initial goal was clear: dismantle Al-Qaeda and prevent Afghanistan from ever again becoming a safe haven for terrorists. The Taliban regime fell quickly, but the fight was far from over. It evolved into a long-term counterinsurgency, a grueling campaign that would test the endurance of America's military for 2 decades. While the war in Afghanistan continued, a new front was about to open. The focus shifted to Iraq and its dictator, Saddam Hussein. The rationale was built on fears of weapons of mass destruction and alleged links to terrorism. In March 2003, the invasion of Iraq began with a massive air campaign known as Shock and Awe. The initial military operation was incredibly successful. Baghdad fell within weeks, and Saddam's regime crumbled. The iconic image of his statue being toppled in Firdos Square seemed to signal a swift victory. But what came next was something no one had fully prepared for. The mission in Iraq morphed from regime change to a brutal and complicated struggle against a multifaceted insurgency. The conflict wasn't against a conventional army, but a mix of former regime loyalists, foreign jihadists, and sectarian militias. The battlegrounds were the streets of cities like Fallujah and Ramadi. This was urban warfare, a deadly, close-quarters fight where every corner, every doorway could hide a threat. Improvised explosive devices, or IEDs, became the signature weapon of the enemy, turning routine patrols into nerve-wracking gambles. For the soldiers on the ground, the enemy was often indistinguishable from the civilian population, creating immense psychological pressure and moral complexity. This new reality of warfare demanded a new kind of soldier and a new way of fighting. The post-9/11 era saw the birth of modern, technologically driven combat. Drones, once science fiction, became a constant presence in the skies, providing surveillance and precision strike capabilities. The Predator and Reaper drones changed the very nature of warfare, allowing operators thousands of miles away to engage targets in real time. Special operations forces, like the Navy SEALs and Army Delta Force, were elevated to the forefront of American military strategy. Small, elite teams carried out high-stakes raids, intelligence-gathering missions, and targeted assassinations. The raid that killed Osama bin Laden in 2011 was the culmination of this shift, a testament to the power of intelligence, technology, and elite special forces working in perfect sync. The battlefield itself became digital, with advanced communication systems and data networks connecting every soldier, vehicle, and command center. But behind the technology, behind every mission and strategic decision, were the people. The post-9/11 wars were fought by an volunteer force, millions of ordinary men and women who answered the call to serve their country in a time of crisis. They came from every corner of America, from all walks of life, signing up for multiple deployments in a relentless operational tempo. They were the ones who patrolled the mountains of Afghanistan and the streets of Baghdad. They carried the heavy gear, faced the daily dangers, and forged unbreakable bonds with their fellow service members. They sacrificed birthdays, holidays, and years of their lives. Many made the ultimate sacrifice. For those who returned, the war didn't always end. They came home as veterans, forever changed by their experiences. They brought back pride in their service and stories of incredible bravery and camaraderie. But many also carried the invisible wounds of war. Post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injuries, and the moral weight of what they had seen and done. The journey home was often another battlefield, a fight to reintegrate into a society that had largely moved on from the wars. They were still fighting, both overseas and within themselves. Their resilience in the face of these challenges is one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked, parts of this story. Supporting these veterans became a national imperative, a responsibility to honor their service not just with words, but with meaningful action. As the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan evolved and eventually wound down, the American military itself continued to transform. The lessons learned from 2 decades of counterinsurgency shaped a new strategic outlook. The focus began to shift away from large-scale ground wars and toward addressing a new array of global threats. The rise of near-peer competitors like China and Russia demanded a renewed focus on high-tech. Conventional deterrence, cyber warfare became a new domain of conflict, with digital warriors defending the nation's critical infrastructure from state-sponsored hackers and online adversaries. Space, too, was recognized as a critical warfighting domain. The military of today is leaner, more technologically advanced, and more agile, designed to project power and counter threats in a world that is more interconnected and volatile than ever before. The post-9/11 era fundamentally remade America. It reshaped its foreign policy, tested its ideals, and redefined its place in the world. It sparked fierce debates at home about security versus liberty and the true cost of war. Most profoundly, it created a new generation of warriors, forged in the crucible of modern conflict through immense bravery, heartbreaking loss, and incredible resilience. They wrote a new chapter in the history of the United States military. Their story is not just one of battles and technology. It is a human story of sacrifice, courage, and the enduring spirit of a nation forever marked by a single day in September. This is the legacy of 9/11's story of how America's wars, its soldiers, and its very identity were changed forever. Thank you for joining us on Inside USA. If you found this story compelling, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next deep dive into the events that shape our world. We'll see you next time.